You are now tuned into Flippin The Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 46 of Flippin The Birds. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante. And I blanked out. I'm not going to lie.
Don't edit that out.
I'm not editing it out. No, this is as natural as can be. I completely blanked out.
Well,
our subject line today is like really affecting me mentally right now. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's really like...
Well, speaking of mentally.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice little transition. So if you haven't noticed, if you don't follow us, if you don't follow Philly Sports Network, we're not sure how you're listening to this podcast if you are not following them, because then how do you stumble upon us? But if you are following us, which is most likely you are, you noticed that on yesterday, well, 2 days ago, since we're dropping this tonight. So
yeah,
Monday, whenever.
Yes, Monday of this week.
Yesterday or 2 days ago, we dropped a little bomb on you guys that in 2 weeks from recording right now, today is July 7th, 2 weeks from recording right now, we will be interviewing the one and only Weapon X, Brian Dawkins.
It's going to be phenomenal.
It is true. If you looked at it like, oh, those guys are bullshitting. Like,
how hard is it? I've been on top of you to keep it on the wraps. How hard is it for you to keep it on the wraps?
This thing has been brewing for 2 months. Like this, I initially emailed back in like early May, I believe. I will actually give you the first May 28th. Was the first email I sent, so a month and a half. And now we got confirmation on July 2nd. So many days. It's been between like first and final. And I just got an email again, another email today, like further confirming it. So it's happening.
This is legit. This is not.
Let me just say it again.
Not BS.
Myself and Brian here on Zoom. You know how we've had guests on that bottom box right there. You know, that's gonna have Brian Dawkins in it in 2 weeks.
It's gonna be my first time interviewing Brian. Brian and Brian.
Have we ever had a Brian?
No, we haven't had a Brian.
We haven't had a Brian. We haven't had a Chris either. We gotta figure it.
We have not had a Chris either.
Change that out. We had a Chris Malley.
Yeah. Chris Malley. Oh, shout out to Chris Malley.
Yeah, 4th and John.
Yes.
But you know, it's incredible. It's been tough to hold it on the wraps. I've been wanting to scream it like I'm working on this and this and this, but I didn't want to jinx it. And
Dawkins was a player that you kind of like for your Eagle fandom. Like he was the center of your.
He's my favorite player growing up. Obviously, a lot of people listening to this, that's their favorite player growing up. You know, I have his jersey in my closet. I'm going to refrain, however hard it is, to wear it during the interview, because I feel like that's a little unprofessional to be like, hey, look, this is you.
I got you.
You know, yeah. So it's gonna be. But here's the thing. So quickly, you know, we don't have all the specifics. Okay. We don't have all the specifics, but it is. You know, Brian has a foundation called the Impact Foundation, and it's centered around mental health. And for those of you that don't know, July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's specifically minority mental health. Not that mental health for minorities is more important than mental health for non-minorities. Mental health is important for everyone. It's good to make that very clear.
Yes.
But you know, in minority communities, it could be like a little bit of a stigma. And you know, growing up, you know, this is not mental health to a certain point, but growing up in my family, you know, in the 90s and all that, if they saw someone who was, you know, quote unquote ADD, ADHD, my parents growing up, not now, growing up, and people around us would be like, they don't need medicine, they just need a slap in the head, and they'll focus. You'll call me and say you're not focused. I'm gonna just slap you on the head. So it's like
completely different times now.
a lot of different things growing up where you come home and say, I don't, it's something not right up here. You're not going to be met with, okay, let's go talk to someone. You're going to get your mother, your father, most likely your mother, saying, you better shut the hell up and go do your shit. Like, I don't want to hear it. So we and especially with everything going on nowadays in the country, between what happened earlier in June with all the protests and and stuff that's going on now, and we're not talking about the Deshaun Jackson situation.
We're not gonna step on that.
If you want our opinions on it, get to us on Twitter. I've tweeted a lot on it today. That's it. I'm not gonna do it. It's done. All the reports came out. It's done.
Yeah.
So, we wanted to do something, and we said this in the past. We wanted to do something for the communities. So Brian's going to come on. We're going to open it. The podcast is going to be foundation centric. And his foundation looks to helping teens understand mental health, understand that there are opportunities for support and for help. And right now his foundation is based in Jacksonville, but he is going to expand in Philadelphia and Clemson area. So this hits home for a lot of people that are listening to us right now, because he is building his foundation in Philadelphia. So to help him out with this, we want to have him on and secure donations for that to his foundation. And we're allowing you, the fans, to ask him questions through donations. And we are finalizing how exactly to do that. But to ask him a question, you are going to, hopefully, we hope, you send in a donation with it's either going to be a screenshot of your donation and an email to our Philly Sports Network email address with a screenshot of your donation made and your question, or it's going to be another site like PayPal, GoFundMe, where you can submit a donation, and in the note you can put in your question. We're not sure what it is yet.
Out all those details right now.
It's a little bit of a complicated thing.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure that out, but that's what's going to happen. Disclaimer. As if you've heard our podcast before, we're usually about an hour. And since this is foundation centric, we know you guys are going to ask dozens of football questions, and he will answer football questions. But this is a podcast to help spread awareness about mental health, and we hope that you actually ask him questions about your own situation. He's been doing this for a long time. He's very passionate. Very passionate.
You gotta love his energy, and the fact that he's always been so open and so vulnerable,
right,
towards towards himself and everything that's going on. It's gonna be an amazing podcast. There's no other way to describe it.
He's God driven. He's passion driven. He's a man that just wants to help people live up to their full potential, and we're so excited. And this, hits home for me in a couple ways. How he's targeting teens 8th grade through 10th grade. I used to teach in Teaneck, New Jersey, which is a very, very urban area. Brian's familiar with that area. We used to work in Paramus and Edgewater, and that whole area is very urban.
Yeah.
I've had athletes not show up to practices because they had shit going on at home, parents fighting. They were raising their own brothers and sisters. They didn't feel like they were good enough. Like a lot of stuff that was taking too much toll on a 13 to 16-year-old, which shouldn't happen. I've had athletes where they were so down on themselves that they thought getting pregnant was the only way to get themselves up. Like I had athletes, juniors in high school, leave my team because they were pregnant.
Wow.
So it's like, and they saw that okay, my life is finally beginning now. When God bless them now because they have healthy babies and all that, but they didn't realize that they already had their life already. So much potential academically, in sports, athletically, that they thought there was only one way to go. So And for me, a lot of shit goes on up here. Like a lot of shit goes up here, and to be completely vulnerable right now, 2 years ago, my wife moved out, and we were going through a lot of shit, and I took to the bottle. I was drinking whiskey day after day after day. I think I went through, in the month of September, this is September 2018, I went through probably 15 bottles of Jack Daniels in just the month of September. It was rough, and it was tough for me to find help because I'm very stubborn, and that's how I grew up. No matter how many times my mom or my dad would say, if anything's going on, you got to talk to me. I always knew they didn't really mean that. There wasn't a no judgment zone. It wasn't Planet Fitness in my house.
Okay.
It wasn't like, because every time my mom said, no, judge free, I'm like, yeah, bullshit. I tell you something right now, you are going to judge me. Like, you just want me to tell you stuff so you know no more. And it took me, and then my wife moved back in 2 months later, and it took me like almost losing her to finally be like, all right, I got to go see help. And I went to someone. I talked to someone. To November to December 2018, I was weekly with a psychiatrist. And it helped me. I still got a lot of shit going on. The only reason I stopped going is because I changed insurances and she didn't take my insurances, because I was like, all right, so am I going to pay $150 out of pocket every week, or am I no, sorry, thanks for the help. See you later. I'll take whatever you gave me in these 6 meetings, and I'll just apply it every day. And it's something that I just still think about to this day, because obviously I have a 7-month-old who is the world to me. So I want to make sure I'm good for her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have my breakdowns in front of her, or ever in front of my wife either. So it's just like, so when I see that my favorite athlete of all time is taking up a foundation that tackles stuff like this, I want to do what I can to help. Yeah.
And I completely, it's so weird because like me and you really never had that kind of conversation outside of the podcast yet.
I don't have it with anybody. I'm a very introverted person.
Yeah, like, and I don't judge you at all, 'cause I'm the same way. Like, I think you and Liam are probably like the very few people I text besides my wife, because I don't really text her because I'm with her all the time. But to kind of hear that, that's something that you went through yourself, and obviously you being a father now, and I understand the pressures of it. About like 2 years before I got married, we were in on vacation, and I had a completely mental breakdown. It was probably like they were rushing me in the car, eating red lights, and I kept thinking to myself, like, this is it, like I'm done. Like I felt like I wasn't gonna survive. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't function. And I made a pact with God, and I'm a born again Christian. That if you got me out of this, I was gonna fix my life. And at the time, I was terrible. You guys, my wife, I was completely a different person than who I am now, and I was on anxiety medicine that completely turned me into a zombie. I was on depression medicine that made me hallucinate in the bedroom at times, and I completely lost my mind. And it literally, like, it's so weird that your story and my story is so it's identical in a way, because my wife got to a point where it was kind of like she had to literally like kind of raise me all over again, like as my mother in a sense, because I couldn't fend for myself. I couldn't even think for myself at the time. And she actually got to a point where she was a boiling point. So she actually did leave when we were still engaged. And at that time, I took it to myself and I went completely cold turkey. I was seeing a therapist. I was seeing a psychiatrist. I stopped seeing everybody. I flushed the meds down the toilet. And I kind of learned how to reprogram myself in a sense. And then my daughter was born after we got married, and to see like how I was so invited into the world of mental health for adults, that my daughter's disability brought me into the world of mental health for parents and kids, because she was born in Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. She was born with spina bifida. If you guys don't know, that's a spinal disability where it's depending on where the lumbar is, the nerves are damaged. So my daughter, she can't walk. She has a club foot. She's paralyzed on her feet. And my wife and I stood in the hospital for about 6 months, almost to like 7 months out of the year, for the past couple of years. And to see so many parents going through, like, there was a baby on the opposite side of my daughter in the NICU, and she had the same disability. And that girl was going through cardiac arrest. The parents weren't there. Apparently, the parents were drug addicts, and they weren't around. Like, so it's kind of like to kind of see, you know, from both angles now. Like, now that we have Brian entering the room, where it's kind of like, I get what you're trying to do, and also I get how you feel sometimes as well. You know what I mean? Like, Brian has been very open to how he feels internally, you know, with his mental health, and it's something that's so fragile nowadays, but not too many people know how to tend to each other and take care of it.
Right. You know,
and it's very evident, like, even in today's day,
yeah,
how things are
especially
you know.
as a man, you know, a lot of these, you know, you men out there want to be like, you know, I'm a man, I don't need this, I don't need that. You gotta fucking suck it up.
Yeah.
That was me for so long, and it's cost me friendships. It's cost me a
Yeah.
lot of things in my life. You know, with you know, in my next month on August 12th, my wife and I will be together for 8 years, and we obviously, with any relationship, you have your ups and downs, as we've explained. You know, and in my quest to make my then girlfriend, then fiance, you know, now wife happy, I was so like focused on trying to make that happen, because I was the type of person growing up, if I made someone unhappy, I was trying to do whatever I can to make that person happy again, no matter who was in my way.
It becomes tunnel vision at that point.
It was a complete tunnel vision, and I alienated so many of my friends. And I didn't know I was doing that until I saw like a Snapchat one day, and to preface that, I know I was completely wrong by this, but I saw a Snapchat one day, and it looked like my best man who at my wedding. It looked like his backyard where people were hanging out and everything. I'm like, what the fuck was in my invite? Like, well, did they just? So I blocked him. I was pissed, and it turns out it wasn't his house. Yeah, I was like, shit. So then he blocked me. Then my former best friend blocked me too, and it was just a snowball effect. And it would just turn out like there was a lot of shit brewing between all of us. And to this day, we haven't spoken since then. And you know, the best man at my wedding, and it's I still think about it today. And I actually texted him a couple weeks ago when it was his wedding anniversary, and I didn't get a response. You know, right now, my thing is like, I feel like I killed someone, because I feel like whatever I did definitely doesn't deserve the silent treatment for almost 2 years. You know, and it is what it is at this point. But thinking back, I'm like, shit, I could have
handled it better in a sense.
Handled it better so many different ways, but I was too stubborn to look at it, because I was the type like, no, this can't happen. Excuse me, this can't happen to me. I no matter. I am very hard-headed. I'm very stubborn. This can't happen to me. I'm still that way in certain aspects. Like I have 3 herniated discs that I could barely walk sometimes. But like, I'm always like, I'm okay. Leave me alone. I'm good. I'm never, can you help me? I hate asking for help. I absolutely hate asking for help. I've always been that way. Even if it means like trying to carry 15 things at once. And if someone says, can I help you with something? I'm like, no, I got this. You know, I always want to be that person to do something for someone else. And it's been a fault of mine. So it's something I'm getting better with, but I've been known to be very cold and all that to my family and friends. Like it's stuff that I'm still working with still as a 31-year-old, you know, and it's just, we just grow up differently. The way we've grown up, our environment molds us. You know, I grew up in the Bronx, and it wasn't all kisses and hugs in the Bronx. You know, it was very hard. So the way I grew up, it kind of still with me. But I am working on it, and having Brian on will definitely help, because I don't want my daughter, who's biracial, to grow up where she's scared to speak up her mind, especially and hopefully, what's good about today's the small amount of good in today's age is that the young kids look like they're going to be okay. The younger generations look like they're going to be okay. They're being taught the right things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping as my daughter gets older, she's not hit with the same things I was hit with when I moved into a white neighborhood. When I was getting hit with, go mow my lawn. I saw your parents on the side of the road. I was going to pick them up in my pickup truck. I'm going to knock the spick out of you. I'm hoping my daughter doesn't see that. Get those things. And if she does, she's going to know to kick their ass.
Mm-hmm.
But, she's only 7 months now, so we got a long way to go. But, it's something that we obviously, we've, for the last 40 whatever episodes, except for one, the Black Lives Matter one we had, we've all been, sports centric, and we're hoping that by having Brian on and us opening up like this, it allows you to maybe open up with us a little bit. All of our DMs are open.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not those types of people who close our DM. We're open. We're not some type of big celebrity where that you can't DM us.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot us a DM and we'll try and talk. But and because if we're talking, maybe you can relate to some of the stuff with it. We all look differently, but we all may have gone through the same shit.
Yeah, that's very true.
So we hope, and with the donations, again, we only have so much time. We hope that you still donate, knowing that your question may not be answered. It's quite possible your question might not be answered because we have so much time.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you know, I hope you already know this without me saying, but I'm going to say it anyway for those of you that think differently. If your question isn't asked, it's still a donation. It's still a donation to a great cause. So we hope we don't run into someone saying, give me my money back, my question wasn't answered.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you have kids, it's a donation towards your kid's future. Like,
right,
they're growing up in a different day and age where social media is everything, and that's draining. That's a burden on on your mental health. Right,
and and hopefully when Brian brings this program to Philadelphia, maybe your kids, if you have 8th graders to 10th graders, maybe they will benefit from this, or even in the future, if you have younger kids, and maybe they'll benefit from it in the future. And we were so excited for this, and hopefully you take the time to donate to this. It's not like we have like a Patreon account. We're asking you to spend $1 for me to give you things that you can Google yourself. We're asking for donations to a great cause.
And this doesn't affect us anyway. This is not going in our pockets.
This is not this is, my pockets are empty. They stay empty.
If you guys don't know, like me and Chris, we don't get paid to do this. Like, we do this because we love.
We do this because we like to drive ourselves crazy.
Yeah, in a sense too, as well.
We like to do this, put this out there, and then get criticized for it.
Yeah, I mean,
or still, even after Rashad's interview last week, and even after the surprise Graylan Arnold interview last week, we still only have 21 ratings on Apple.
It's funny because I think the focus has been YouTube because we're doing visual videos.
Like, I guess people like to see this, or maybe
it could be that. Either that, they're looking at the little light on my head,
or the grays on my beard. Don't worry, next podcast is gonna look a little better because I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. Don't worry about that.
No, I might stay like this for a while because I need to grow back the beard. But on another note, so moving away from the Brian Dawkins conversation, we already stated we're not going to talk about the Deshaun Jackson situation for many reasons. We are going to start because, like Chris reminded me today, we're already in July. We're going to look at our schedule preview, which we did last time around, and
last year we did 4 games a week for 4 weeks because I've always been in the mindset you look at the season in quarters, and obviously a quarter is 4. So and 16 games divided by 4. We're still in the 16-game season. We're not in 17 games yet. That's next year.
But we have an added playoff team this year, right?
We do have an added playoff team this year. So
there's a chance for the Cowboys.
Maybe. No, they wouldn't have even made it last year, which is funny. And all these pundits want to say Eagles, they can make the wild card, but Cowboys, they did, even with expanded playoffs, they wouldn't have made the playoffs last year. So kiss my ass. So you break it up into 4 quarters. You go 3-1 every quarter. You're 12-4. You know, and you or if you go 3-1 2 quarters and you go 2-2 the other quarters, you're looking at a 10-6 season. So if you break it up like that, might be a little easier. Like after every 4 games, like all right, what do they do? What do they have to do the next 4 games to be back in it? So we're start today. Maybe we'll go do it next week if no one pops up and says, hey, let me be on your pod, because we're that popular now. Yeah. Wish. and then the following week, obviously we have Brian Dawkins, and we'll see what happens. And because on July 28th is technically the training camp day and everything. We might have some more stuff then.
Wait, what day is July 28th?
Tuesday.
Is that a Tuesday? Oh, we might have to ixnay a podcast that day. It's my daughter's birthday. I can't miss that.
Or is maybe Riley's gonna be on the podcast that day.
She was trying to be on tonight.
Maybe she's gonna host it for her birthday. Yeah. There you go. July 28th. Riley's 3-year-old birthday party on Zoom.
Live on Zoom.
So July 28th, 29th, whichever it is, that's training camp if it still happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
Which,
got all
according
this.
to Greenland, it looks like things are still kind of.
Yeah, right now, Grayland, if you missed it, Grayland Arnold was on our podcast on Friday, and then we posted on Saturday. And thanks for the views, the people. Over 4,000 views.
Yeah,
that's our most viewed podcast. That's our most viewed podcast of all time.
Can we talk about the power of Twitter? I mean, the article that we put out did not hit Bleacher Report or anything of that sorts, and it got over 10,000 views. Like the power of retweeting from all these Eagles fans.
You guys are incredible.
It's wild.
Some of you are insufferable, but still incredible. And so all right. So we look at the season and we make our season predictions. Last year, I forget what I said. I forget what Brian said. I'm gonna go back.
13-3.
I think around there. Yeah. I remember last year the stuff that we disagreed on. I had them beating Detroit.
The Seahawks.
You had them beating the Seahawks. I had them losing to the Seahawks. I got that right. You had them losing to the Packers. I had them beating the Packers. I had that right. You had them beating Detroit. You had them losing to Detroit, and I think I had them beating Detroit. So you got that right.
Did we both have them beating Miami?
I think the rest of the world.
I feel like everybody thought they were gonna beat Miami except the actual Eagles.
We don't talk about that anymore. So let's get started with week 1 away at the Washington.
Wait. Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say, like, what do we call them? They're not gonna be the Redskins, apparently.
The Washington, who knows?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the name the Washington Red Tails if they do go that direction, which I highly doubt. That'd be phenomenal for the culture.
I don't know if you like the Bovado. Was it Bovado or something else? Came out with odds. And
they have bets. They actually have bets on it right now.
They have odds on everything, and on what the names would be. And the favorite, let me find. The favorite is. I'm getting there, I think. The favorite of the Presidents. So at plus 300, the Washington Presidents. Next, you got the Generals, the Washington Generals, which I believe that name is trademarked by the Harlem Globetrotters, and they also said that they would sell it to the Redskins. I think they said.
I don't like the name though, Washington Generals.
Next tied with the Generals in odds is the Lincolns.
This is really the
yes, the Washington Lincolns. Like I'm odds shark. I'm looking at it right now.
These names are atrocious so far.
The Washington Americans. I'm telling you right now, if it's the Washington Americans, every time the Eagles and the Americans play, it has to be America's game of the week.
The American Eagles.
Like or the emo game of the week. Yeah, we got the American Eagle game. You can go get your tight ass shirts and your tight jeans. I've never been able to fit in anything in that store.
I've never adapted to any of those brands, honestly.
I remember people like growing up, like in my teens, buying me for Christmas or something. I'm like, what the hell do you think I am? You got the Washington Kings. No.
I don't like any of these names so far.
That's another thing that might get canceled because it's not gender neutral.
Mm.
You got the Washington Memorials.
No.
You got the Washington Capitals, which is stupid because there's already a hockey team.
Isn't that, yeah.
So why would you guys have two Capitals? The Washington Veterans.
That sounds like Tom Brady's team.
The Washington Jeffersons.
You can't be serious. These are real names.
The Washington Roosevelts.
Oh my god.
The Washington Monuments. And the Washington Arlingtons.
Wait, I'm very curious now. Why the Washington Arlingtons?
Oh, Arlington, that's the gravesite.
Oh. That's the gravesite, and that's where the Dallas Cowboys play as well?
Yeah, it's the national cemetery.
I don't like any of those names, I'm not gonna lie. I really like Washington Red Sox. I feel like that's super badass.
Yeah, and it goes back to the African American pilots in World War II, so that helps.
Make a statement.
Make a statement. But
be bold.
What's not going to be a statement is that
Week
their
one.
team, they still their defense is fantastic. Their defensive line is fantastic. They lost Quentin Dunbar, they lost Josh Norman, which we can't.
Who's on their D line right now? Just
Chase Young,
Kerrigan,
Kerrigan, who's an absolute monster.
He scares me every year.
Like you, there's
Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen is there, yes. And they still have Reuben Foster, who on the 49ers was very good, and all that crap happened. They have Deron Payne, who's very good. They got Montez Sweat, who was very good coming out of.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, so you got Chase Young. They signed Thomas Davis, the old man Thomas Davis.
I thought Thomas retired.
No, he's back with Ron Rivera, new head coach Ron
Really?
Rivera. They still got Landon Collins back there, who's not a safety; he's more of a linebacker. Their cornerback situation is suspect, even though Kendall Fuller is very good. It's a
By the way,
secondary.
shout out to Landon Collins, because I met him a couple years ago, and he came in with a blue Lamborghini, blue rims and everything. So I'm like, I bleed blue. I wonder if he changed the color on that Lamborghini.
Why don't you call him and ask him?
I should, right? I know he has AT&T.
There you go. Hack into his phone. So, but then you look at the offense, and they still got Dwayne Haskins back there. Yeah, Terry McLaurin, he torched the Eagles. Absolutely killed them. But now we got Darius Slay.
The PFF piece that McLaurin is actually the best wide receiver in the NFC East?
I wouldn't dispute that.
I'm not disputing it. It's just mind blowing.
I mean, you got Amari Cooper who can.
Amari Cooper sits out the fourth quarters.
You got it's true. You got now you got CeeDee Lamb. You got I like Michael Gallup.
I do like Gallup. Gallup is a bit of a savage.
I like Darius Slayton on the Giants.
I forgot about Slayton.
You got Golden Tate, who wanted to go to a winner and he didn't. Now you got.
He said he wants to go to winner. He didn't say what sport.
Maybe he wanted to win in his wallet. I don't know. So then you got. I always forgot. Aguilar's on the Raiders now. So that
yeah.
Well, I mean, you got Djax. You got. I don't think any of our receivers are in discussion for top 5 in the division.
I mean, at least not yet. I mean, we don't know how these young guys.
Who knows where Rhaegar is going to be? Who knows if Djax is going to stay healthy the whole year?
Who knows what Alshon Jeffrey's going to look like?
Oh, yeah. So that in October, November when he comes back. So right now, I would say no order: McLaurin, Cooper, Gallup. McLaurin, Cooper, Gallup, Slayton. Probably Lamb.
It would have to be Lamb, right?
Probably Lamb. See, the Cowboys got 3 names on that list, and they still can't make the playoffs. Sad.
Do just off topic? Do we really think that the Eagles did enough for wide receiver?
I like what they did.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't like it.
They got some speed to open up the deep pass. Like you saw that one game with Deshaun Jackson, 2 50-yard bombs.
But do they have a true number 1 wide receiver? In
this offense, you don't need one. Their true number 1 receiver is Zach Ertz.
No, I guess I'm a little envious that these other teams have a true number 1.
To be completely honest, they're a true number 1 receiver is Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Everybody else is very complimentary. Now you got outside receivers. You got the slot receivers open up the whole field, and then there's Zach Ertz waiting wide open because everybody else is worried about Deshaun Jackson running 4-3 down the field, and Raygor's going across the middle, and then maybe Marquise Goodwin is flying down 3.9 speed. It's going to open up the whole offense. Then you got Boobie Miles, who can do everything else
Oh,
too.
man, I love Miles, bro.
So this offense, you don't need a true number one receiver.
Point taken.
So with that said, and the Redskins' offensive line is not that good either. Eagles are gonna. I think the Eagles are gonna start 1-0 again.
We haven't lost to them since 2016, so I don't see that happening anytime soon.
And in Doug Peterson's tenure, the Eagles are 4-0 in opening games. They're about to be 5-0.
Okay, I completely agree with that.
I don't know. I'll say a score of like 27-17.
I'll say 27-13, but yeah.
And just for the culture, for the brand, the Eagles are going to be down 10-0 at halftime.
And shout out to the kid that last year, when they were down, I said, call me crazy, but the Eagles are going to come back and win this. The dude actually did call me crazy. And the Eagles actually came back and won.
You are crazy, so I guess.
I mean, to a certain degree.
100 degrees. Anyways, so Eagles win. Week 2, they finally have a home game against the California team.
We finally are going to see Wentz back at it with Goff.
Wentz is going to get his revenge on the Los Angeles Rams.
And Peterson is going to get his damn unappreciated win over McVay for the third freaking time. I'm very that pisses me off to a whole other level.
Such a stupid ass poll.
I can't stand people like McVay over Peterson.
That was such a stupid ass poll. It really was.
Was it a poll or was it the guy from CBS?
I'm sorry, not a poll. It was just some dude from CBS, and then he gets mad at Eagles fans for calling him out for
stupidity.
For being stupid. Peterson has a Super Bowl. He's 2-0 against the Rams.
He beat the Rams with 2 different quarterbacks in the same game.
And then Carson Wentz threw for a touchdown on the Rams on a torn ACL. Like it's
bro.
What else? And then he beat the Eagles, destroyed the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Not destroyed. I know they won 41-33, but still they put up 41 points, 38 more points than the Rams did on the Patriots. So
and you're forgetting one thing. I'm gonna say this right now: the Eagles had the better cornerback.
Oh, right now they do.
Right now we have the better.
Oh yes, I agree. Jalen Ramsey is a bum.
Out there.
He's a bum. Whoever wanted it. Anyways, so we got the Aaron Donald comes through.
The girly list Rams.
Aaron Donald, he's a mammoth.
He's a savage.
Against any other team in the whole league, he's a mammoth.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know that out of Aaron Donald's 72 career sacks, guess how many he has against the Eagles?
None.
0. Out of his – hold on. What did I just do? Out of his 220 – what am I doing? No, just kidding. Out of his 312 career tackles, how many does he have against the Eagles? In 3 games.
Am I too bold if I say none?
5.
Okay. Then these are QB hits.
In his 173 career QB hits.
Okay, there we go.
How many does he have against the Eagles?
2.
5.
Oh, really?
In 3 games.
So he doesn't show up for Eagles games, you're saying?
He had, in his rookie year, he had 1 tackle. He only played 26 snaps that game.
Mm-hmm.
In 2017, the Carson Wentz game, he had 2 tackles. 2 combined. 2 solo tackles, 2 combined. 1 tackle for loss, 3 QB hits.
Mm-hmm.
2018, 1 solo tackle, 1 assisted tackle, 1 QB hit.
So you're saying that deep down, Aaron Donald's actually an Eagles fan?
Probably. He probably looks at Fletcher like, he's my boy. So what I say is, Jason Kelce owns him.
Mm.
And I know we won't have Brooks now, but Jason Kelce can handle that ass.
We're still a top 10 offensive line, even without Brooks and Peters.
Yeah. So, you look at that and say, maybe – and Jared Goff is not good. They got some really nice receivers. You got Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Josh Reynolds.
Oh, Cooper Kupp is such a fantasy stud.
Yes. They have a decent offensive line. However, Andrew Whitworth is really old. He's a left tackle. I think he's going to be 38, 39. Then you have at running back, Malcolm Brown, Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, rookie. Who knows how that running game is going to be? Mm-hmm. Defensive line, again, with Aaron Donald's decent. You got Michael Brockers, Sean Robinson, Aaron Donald. Linebackers, they got Leonard Floyd, who wasn't good on Bears. And then you got Mr. Golden Child, Jalen Ramsey, who once he got to the Rams, everybody was able to throw on them, no problem.
Yeah, he just completely disappeared.
So, the Rams under Sean McVay are 0-2 against the Eagles. And they're going to be 0-3.
Can I say that I'm declaring that this is the Jannard Avery breakout game?
So today, Jannard Avery's working with Rashad.
This is going to be his breakout game. I'm calling it right now.
How many sacks?
2 sacks.
2 sacks. 2 sacks for a fumble.
Yeah, we do that.
Jannard Avery. Boom. Done.
I think the kid's going to be a stud, and I think he's a big reason how he didn't really invest in the defense.
He has, if those of you listening or watching or whatever you're doing, you haven't seen the video from the Footwork King, look him up on Twitter. He's got some bend. His knee was almost touching the ground, and he still got his speed off of that. He's gonna be able to bend underneath. Man. That's why I put out an article a few weeks ago. Dude, the Eagles really need some help at defensive end. They got Jannard Avery there,
and Josh Sweat, who's still an underrated stud.
You can move Fletch over. Malik Jackson has some experience there.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different things you can do with the defensive line, and we finally have I'm gonna go after dark here in a minute.
Uh-oh.
Just think last year thinking about the offense, I got little titillated, but now thinking about this defense, the fact that after talking to Kayvon in May and talking to Grayland a few days ago, and just seeing how Darius Slay is putting the work with Rashad and all that, his footwork, and you see how Will Park's attitude and all that. And
Will Parks works out
every day. He's
5 in the morning until 12 in the morning.
So, and then you got everybody else. It's the defensive line got together to work out too. Fletch and Malik Jackson, Brandon Graham, they all working out. Brandon Graham was actually working out with Darius Slay a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
The camaraderie.
It's amazing.
And I'm looking forward to this defense just now becoming the no-fly zone again. And all the celebrations are going to come back, and the electric slide's going to come back, and the home run hitting, stuff in the end zone that is going to come back, and it's going to be fantastic.
Real quick question. Spoiler alert for our position battles. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Douglas, Jones, or Maddox?
Jones.
Touche.
I've been on record.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, just want to make sure.
Jones. Tua looks a lot better now.
Yeah, he does.
But Jones. So week 3, they stay home against Liam Jenkins and the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think this is gonna be a good test for the secondary. You got AJ Green, you have Tyler Boyd, John Ross.
Is John Ross going to be healthy?
I mean, is any of them going to be healthy because AJ's coming out from that big injury?
Yeah.
And nobody's scared of what's the other kid that they drafted, Higgins? T. Higgins?
Yeah. You got Joe Mixon though; he's really good.
Joe Mixon is a savage.
You got it's Joe Burrow, quarterback. I know he's really good, but we'll see how Zach Taylor does with him. Jack Taylor.
It's gonna be the Zach Taylor versus Press Taylor game.
There you go, brother versus brother. Also, the quarterbacks coach, I want to say QB coach, and just Let me just. Oh shit! Where is he then? Wait. Yeah. Yeah. The quarterbacks coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. He graduated a year or 2 years older than before me in my college.
Oh, really?
In Central New York, out of nowhere. Now he's quarterback coach for the Bengals.
First year QB coach, or?
Yeah, he just started this year. I think prior to that, I believe he was on the Bills.
And you've already had more success than him. Look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. He's because he's making millions on the contract, and
let's not count money though.
Yeah. I'm sitting here
What is
unemployed.
Just paper.
It's paper that pays my bills. Shit, I think I got something to do today. It's what did Rashad tell us last week? Those big receivers can't really do much. So you got AJ, and he specifically said AJ Green, T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd's good. Yeah, he's real good. John Ross, who knows what the hell he's gonna be? So
he's kind of cold.
You got they don't have Tyler Eifert anymore. He went down to Jacksonville.
Who is their tight end now?
Drew Sample.
Who? What happened to the to Eifert's backup?
Who was his backup?
Was it Uzoma, whatever his name is?
Oh, he's still there.
Oh, okay.
On the depth chart that I'm looking at, they have him backup.
Oh wow.
Drew Sample. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find something to get a sample of what he could do.
Are we looking at 3-0?
Yes.
Blowout, or it's kind of be one of those trap games?
Not fancy. Fun fact: Eagles have not beaten the Bengals in a very long time.
Since when?
Since 2000. It's been a long time. I want to say 2010.
Oh wow. Well, that was the Marvin Lewis Bengals. That was not the Zach Taylor Bengals.
It was the Andy Dalton Bengals. Last time the Eagles beat the Bengals was 2000.
So we haven't beaten the Bengals. I mean, give or take 20 years.
The infamous tie game with Donovan McNabb was the Bengals.
Oh my God, I remember that. Wow.
So 2016 Bengals beat the Eagles 32-14. 2012 34-13.
Wait, 2016?
Yeah, Wentz rookie year, 32-14. I don't really think Dalton did much that game.
Was it the run game?
Dalton went. No, he did 23 for 31, 332 yards.
Oh, okay.
I think it was our Wentz went 36 for 60 attempts that game.
That's when they started criticizing Peterson for having Wentz throw so much.
1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
Oh Lord.
Leading rusher had 19 yards. Wendell Smallwood.
Oh, Wendell Smallwood leading rusher. Don't say that, man.
Leading receiver was Paul Turner.
Oh, the infamous one.
Talk about practice squad. Wentz has been doing it since his rookie year. So it's, leading receiver for the Bengals, Brandon LaFell. 5 receptions for 95 yards. Tyler Boyd was there. 4 receptions.
LaFell ended up with the Patriots afterwards, right?
Yeah. So, you got 2012. Bengals beat the Eagles 34-13.
Good Lord.
You got Andy Dalton went 13 for 27. That's the game he didn't do good. 13 for 27, 127 yards. Nick Foles, 16 for 33, 180 yards, 1 touchdown. Then you got Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. He went 25 rushes for 106 yards and 1 touchdown. Andy Dalton had a rushing touchdown. Leading rusher for the Eagles, Bryce Brown, 16 rushes for 34 yards. Leading receiver that game for the Eagles, 4 receptions, 73 yards, Jerry Maclin.
I miss Jay Macman. I don't get how Chip let him go, man.
Chip didn't let him go. That was before Chip. He went to Kansas City before Chip.
You sure?
Yeah. No, he went. Yeah. Chip was here. Chip was here. But then he wanted to. He was a free agent. He went with
Andy.
Yeah. 2008 was the tie, 13-13. You got McNabb went 28 for 58. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
Wasn't that the game that McNabb didn't know like games can end in a tie?
Yeah, yep. That's
Oh
the
my
infamous.
goodness.
Cedric Benson had 23 rushes for 42 yards. Kevin Curtis, 7 receptions for 64 yards. Deshaun Jackson, 4 receptions for 66 yards. TJ Hushmanzada went off, 12 receptions for 149 yards.
TJ. Wow.
We're going to go back, and so we got now the loss before that. Bengals 38-10 in 2005. John Kitna, 16 for 27, 160 yards. Coy Detmer for the Eagles, 17 for 31. Jeff Blake also made an appearance, 14 for 23, so 54 total pass attempts. Eagles' leading rusher was Eric McCoo, 9 rushes for 54 yards. Leading receiver for the Eagles was Reno Mahe, 8 receptions for 62 yards. The game they actually won.
They actually won one finally.
In 2000. In 2000. They won 16-7. McNabb went 23 for 40, 198 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Eagles' leading rusher was Chris Warren, 15 rushes for 42 yards. Leading receiver for the Eagles was Chad Lewis, 9 receptions for 66 yards. They had Charles Johnson, 4 receptions for 69 yards. Nice. McNabb caught a pass that game.
Can I just say something about McNabb? And I'm very I feel ashamed to say this, just because of who he's turned into now. But I became an Eagles fan because of McNabb. That was my Brian Dawkins. And to kind of see who he is now as a person,
He's bitter.
It hurts. It really hurts.
He's really bitter.
So 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
All right.
Now, final one. This is gonna be toughy.
Okay.
They travel away to San Francisco.
49ers, but
now,
no DeForest Buckner.
Yeah, but they still got Javon Kinlaw, who's very good. They still got Eric Armstead, who's very good. They still got Nick Bosa, who's very good. They still got Solomon Thomas, who's very good, but underutilized.
Line.
They still got a lot of people on, so they lose Buckner, and obviously it's a huge loss, but they recouped that very
But this
quickly.
is where Peterson shines the most, because his play calling with the run game, spreading it out and just creating all these wild lanes for a player like Sanders and Scott to run through.
But then you have to look at the linebackers, and they got Quan Alexander.
Oh, I forgot about that.
They got Drake Greenlaw's pretty good.
Weren't they releasing Quan?
What?
Weren't they going to release Quan or something?
I was hoping they were, but I guess they didn't.
Oh, my goodness.
Not that the Eagles would have signed him anyway, because he's a linebacker and Howie has a thing about them.
But Howie loves TJ, apparently. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He actually one of his linebackers.
Yeah. And then they have Fred Warner, who a few weeks ago I asked Twitter, give me some realistic trade options, and I'll give my opinion on it. And someone said trade for Fred Warner, and that's not going to happen. Fred Warner is one of the best young linebackers in the whole league. You may not know who he is because his name is Fred Warner. Who the hell's do you know Fred Warner? What the fuck is Fred Warner?
I thought he was a veteran already.
He sounds like that. Sounds like
he sounds like an old head.
He sounds like an old name, like Fred. Who names a kid Fred? Especially in 1996. Oh, we're old. He was born in 1996. Well, his name is Federico.
Federico Warner.
Federico Anthony Warner.
What's his nationality?
I don't know. Let me call him up later.
So annoying.
But in 2 years since being in the league, he has 242 tackles in 2 years. Rookie year, 124. Last year, 118. And last year he had a pick 6. He had 3 sacks. So he really came out. He hasn't missed a game yet either. So we're not trading for him.
No, absolutely not.
That's not happening. But then, so on the other side, there's a big, Max Kellerman went on his Max Kellerman soapbox the other day and said that no one between the two, between Wentz and Garoppolo, who has been better the last couple of years?
Oh Lord!
And he said,
I hate Max Kellerman.
He said Garoppolo. I don't know what he
has to
thinks.
get paid to be the bad guy. Like it's just that's the only thing that makes sense. He has to get paid to hate Wentz, like Skip Bayless hated Wentz or hated the Eagles.
Like I just don't know
Because common sense says Garoppolo's
what
not been
he
better.
means by last couple of years.
Well, couple usually means two.
Yeah, but
And
like,
definitely not better.
but it's like, Garoppolo has not played nearly as many games as Wentz.
Didn't he miss like almost an entire season not too long ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, and it's. Oh no, I'll tell you right now. So
Weren't the Niners thinking about signing Tom Brady not too long ago? Literally this offseason?
So Max Kellerman said, "Who's played better in the last couple of years?" Garoppolo. And I said, last couple of years, Wentz has had 27 games, 7,113 yards, 48 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, averaging 263.4 yards per game. Garoppolo, 19 games, 4,696 yards, 32 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 247 yards per game.
It's not even close.
Jimmy Garoppolo is just a better-looking Chad Pennington.
He's a game manager.
With a porn star girlfriend. That's Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like that's him.
I don't get why Wentz is the butt of the jokes for
Like
national media.
Exactly. Like whoever the like the thing is, like, I look at it two ways. I look at it, why the fuck? Excuse my language, but no, don't excuse it. Why the hell are people so like Carson Wentz has been nothing but like the epitome of like a stand-up person and player. Like the way he's
literally a player to talk to the media and how to carry himself. He's literally the example.
He's
a standard.
he is. The only like quote unquote controversial quote he's really ever had was like during the Super Bowl run, and afterwards he was like, "Yeah, you're disappointed that I wasn't the one who did it," but that's him. Like that's a competitor. Yeah. But actually, like, he had between the Black Lives Matter post that he had and the 4th of July post that he had, and he just became a father.
Guy you want leading your team.
But then at the end, and then you look at the other side of it. He has to be respected, just like no one wants to admit it, because he's always the standard to which someone's compared to. Mm-hmm. So, like, who would you rather have, Jimmy Garoppolo or Carson Wentz? Who would you rather have, Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz? Who would you rather have, Lamar Jackson or Carson Wentz? It's always this person versus Carson Wentz. And it's really like there's only two quarterbacks who absolutely have no debate versus Carson Wentz, and that's Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. Those two don't deserve to be in any debate with Carson Wentz because it's not going to be Wentz.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an Eagles fan and you're picking Wentz over Mahomes or Russ, you got something issue. You got an issue. We all love Wentz, but you got to admit that Mahomes.
I still think Wentz has another level that he hasn't touched yet.
He's not. He's going to hit it. But right now, Mahomes already hit that level, and Wilson's been hitting that level every year.
Who's your quarterback tier right now?
It's not the time for this pod. Like, we're running on an hour here. You're gonna put me on the spot.
Top 5. That's it. Top 5.
Top 5.
In order.
Mahomes and Russ, 1A, 1B.
Okay.
And like, I can't, like, you can make an argument for who's better than the two. You can make it both ways. 3.
Do you go Wentz or you go Lamar?
See, Lamar's special, but so is Wentz. But like,
how long will Lamar be special for?
But that's the thing. But then, like, you really have to look at it. Like, you have to give the same argument for Lamar. And like, my thing is, we've seen what Wentz can do in 2017, and people want to create, like, if that's the standard you're holding him to, he's never going to reach that to. But we've seen that happen, and we've seen him hit 4,000 yards this year with bullcrap at his receiver position. So we know he can take that even further. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson, we see that he is Michael Vick 2.0. Mm-hmm. But we've seen that 1 year. Like, we've seen that at a high level for 1 year. His rookie year, he played all 16 games, yes, but he played all 16 games and he was the Taysom Hill. He was Taysom Hill, just with more passing opportunities, and only 58% completion. So you're gonna tell me 1 year Lamar Jackson. I know he was an All-Pro. He led the league in touchdowns. Great, awesome. Wentz was one touchdown away from leading the league in touchdowns and it had to happen with him 3 games away from for the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to tell me 1 year of Lamar Jackson throwing for 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions makes him a top-flight quarterback, but you cannot tell me that 1 year of Wentz throwing for 32 touchdowns in 32 or 33?
33, he broke the record.
Right. So throwing for 33 touchdowns in 13 games, averaging 2.5 touchdowns per game. If you extrapolate that over the next 3 games, that's 40 touchdowns. You cannot, and Russ beat him by 1 in 16 games.
And Brady should not have won MVP this season.
He shouldn't. He shouldn't.
It was Wentz.
It should have been Wentz. He led the league in QBR that year also. Wentz did. So you cannot. So you're gonna tell me, yeah, Lamar's 1 year makes him this tier, but Wentz's 1 year doesn't because he has to do that again. He's pretty much done it again the last couple of years. 3,000 yards in 11 games in 2018 with 21 touchdowns, averaging his highest average yards per game, almost 280 yards per game in 2018 on a broken back and coming back from his torn ACL, and then 4,000 yards last year with beer cans at receiver position. So you can't do that. So right now I would say Mahomes, Russ here, whichever way you want to put it.
I think you can put Mahomes over Russ.
Wentz 3, Lamar 4.
Number 5 is very interesting.
It's not like I'm gonna put it. It's not gonna be Breeze. It's not gonna be Brady. It's not. They're up there obviously, but they're on their way out. I don't think it's Rodgers either. I'm gonna get hate.
Dak?
I'm gonna get hate for this. I'm gonna say Dak.
I'm not gonna disagree with that. I'm not gonna lie.
And then like you could put any order back. You got Rodgers. You got Stafford. You got Breeze. You got Brady. I'm not putting Jimmy G up there. I'm not putting, because you're looking at the AFC East. You got Josh Allen. I'm not putting up there. You got Tua. I'm not putting up there. You got Cam. Who knows what he's going to be like?
Oh yeah, we don't know what he's going to look like.
You got who else is in the AFC East? Bills, Jets. Dan Darnold. Not going to do that. AFC South.
Watson.
Deshaun Watson. You could put him up there.
You put him over Dak?
I think Dak and Watson are again tied. Yeah.
I want to see Watson without DeAndre.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see that.
I don't want to see him finish the season.
So let's go back.
I know he did last year. But anyways,
are the Eagles beating the 49ers?
so you look at Jimmy Garoppolo. Last year, all 16 games for the first time in his career. Before that, 3 games, 6 games, 6 games, 5 games, 6 games. And he had a very good season last year. He's just not better than Wentz.
No. Too many game managers are being praised for being franchise quarterbacks.
And then you have former Eagles great Raheem Mostert, who got cut by the Eagles many years ago.
But among other teams.
Oh yeah, a lot of teams. It's then you got Debo. Who knows how healthy he's gonna be? You got Brandon Ayuk. You got Kittle. You got a nice little offense, and you got Trent Williams there now. So it's it's gonna be that's gonna be rough.
I think the Eagles taking is gonna be kind of. I think it's another Peterson-esque game. Like it's gonna be his game planning to really put them over the edge.
Yeah.
And I don't think Debo's gonna be back. The way Rashad talked about it was kind of like this is a more significant injury than Debo was making it sound like.
Yeah.
You're really on the fence
I
about
think,
this.
like, on one hand, they're traveling to San Francisco,
They do good in California.
but at the same time, it's not a true Sunday night game for them. It's Sunday night for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be 5:00 over there, so it really doesn't hit them that hard. Just who knows that because they got Richard Sherman too. They got
It's a very, very even roster.
They got a really good secondary. Jimmy Ward, Akeller Witherspoon, which we talked to Rashad about him too. He said Rasul has a lot of Witherspoon in him. Eagles won.
4-0.
And they got a good kicker, Robbie Gould.
We had Jake Elliott, Mr. 61 yards.
Yeah. 4-0. Eagles started 4-0.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening.
Bye.
But hey, you know what though? You know what?
What's up?
My balls have never been cleaner.
It's been a while since we talked about our balls.
Yeah. Just to talk about, we're talking about footballs once, we'll talk about our balls. It's those of you that do not know, we've held out the Manscaped the last couple, pods because we've been interviewing these guys, and we didn't want to be like, hey, Graylin, do you shave your balls? We weren't going to be that way. We weren't going to say, hey, you're the footwork king. What about the ball work king? We're not going to do that. So, but listen, we're still here. We're still in the clear down there. Because we do our lawnmower 2.0, we do a body wash, which is the best smelling body wash I've ever used.
Freaking love the body wash, bro. Like,
I need some more. I'm out.
I gotta re-up.
Gossip. You get the whole package. You get the package. It gives you some mats to stand over while you're shaving your balls, so you don't get your little pubes all over the place. So hey, go to manscaped.com. They got something special coming out today, I think, if they haven't announced it. I'm not going to say it in case they didn't. But they have something great coming out, which I know my wife's going to love for me to do because she gets on me a lot for this. It has nothing to do with my balls. But so go to manscaped.com. Use our promo code FTB at checkout. FTB for the balls, feeling the balls, flipping the birds. 20% off, free shipping. And you
take care of you guys. Take care of yourself, guys.
It's gonna get hot,
and
you don't want it too hairy down there because then it can be sweating and you're chafing. They have ball deodorant that you can put down there. And the anti-chafing is great.
The foot spray is also pretty awesome.
Foot spray, yeah, I'm telling you that. But that deodorant, sometimes when it gets a little sticky down there, you got one ball sticking to one leg, and then you got to like do the little dance and all that, and try and get that. This doesn't do. This helps you out. So let us help you.
FTB at checkout plus free shipping. You guys, it's a win-win situation.
That's right.
So next week we'll be covering the next quarter of the season. Unless we have
someone else.
Chris is like, how can I say it? I can't say Adrian's full name, last name, the Watch Bomb. Like, you are like my version of the Watch Bomb. Wojnarowski? I say Wojnarowski? Wojnarowski. Okay. Well, Chris drops Chris bombs randomly through my phone throughout the week, and I gotta stop everything I'm doing when he texts me because he literally sends me an alert and eyeballs.
I'm gonna tell my wife to do the same thing. Every time I text her, she needs to stop everything she's doing.
So stay tuned. I mean, we might have something special. I mean, I know we have a couple things up our sleeve, but stay tuned to next week. Don't forget Brian Dawkins, July 21st. We're going to put out more details on how you can contribute to his foundation and also ask questions. But yeah, until next week, guys, thank you for tuning in. And please, if you're streaming, now, on YouTube, you guys are tremendous. You guys are amazing on YouTube. You guys leave us the most feedback. We reply back as soon as possible. Apple Podcast, if you guys are listening on there, 5 stars. Even 3 stars. I truly don't care.
No, 5.
I'm trying to trigger you. 5 stars. Leave a comment, good or bad. Just we're welcoming to it.
Even if you want to criticize us in the comments, just leave 5 stars.
Yeah.
5 stars. These guys suck. Yeah, it's fine.
That's all you gotta do. But just guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for a tremendous last couple of episodes. I mean, I think combined it's over like 8,000 views together.
Whole lot of views.
it's overwhelming how how much we've grown because of your support and the support towards Philly Sports Network, and supporting Liam as well, who I'm trying to drag onto the podcast. But Tuesday nights he has his iRacing streaming.
He's really got into this.
He really is.
He's become the Dale Earnhardt of Philly sports.
So if you're listening to this, I need you guys to go on Twitter and tag Liam saying "Go on FTB," like literally, like just start that.
No one's gonna do it.
Nobody's gonna do it at all, but it's okay. Anyways, I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante, and until next week.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.